That's so cool, huh? It's been, I think, like 7 months that we don't open this door. And now we decided we're going to start using the door, the entry door. Because it's a house, you know?
Yesterday he fixed the door.
Yeah. It was not open and closed. And then I took the door out and we fixed, you know, just some...
And now it's working.
Yeah. But let's start talking about this week.
Yeah.
What are you going to do this week?
Let's show them.
Yeah.
So, this week we are gonna fix...
Finally.
This part of the door.
So we can install another beam here. And we can finally install the ceiling panels that you saw last week.
So,
let's get working. I'm Duca.
And I'm Roberta.
And together we are building our own time shipping container house.
So don't forget to subscribe
and to join us every Monday for a new episode. First step in order to install, that's not a beam, but that's just a section of the beam. We need to install the beam there, and we need to create a support on the other side. But we need to know exactly how high the support needs to be. So now what we're gonna do is to locate this one place, and we're gonna measure on this side, and then we need to repeat the height there. You see? So basically this is gonna sit here. Measure this. 246.7. Now we can work on the vertical stairs.
Good?
Looks good?
Yeah.
So this is how it's gonna look, but now we need to buy the beams and we need some friends because that's gonna be work for, you know, some muscle. Yeah, let's keep going to get everything ready because Thursday they're gonna come to help. So now we're just gonna get things ready. So when they come, it's quick because they need to go back to work, you know, they just skip work really quick and go back to work. So let's get things ready. I know this looks not good, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. We always say that, but it's true. The metal frame of the door, it's sticking inside too much. So if we put this forward, it's gonna stick out, and that's not how it's supposed to be. So when we put these small, you know, plywood pieces, the frame comes to this direction, and now we can leave where it's supposed to be. And then we're gonna have the wall coming all the way to here. It doesn't matter, and we can screw the wall here. So it's gonna be fine. Trust us. We're gonna call it a day today because we have a lot of screws to add and we're tired. So now we still have some insulation to apply. We're gonna do an insulation here just to connect both sides of the house. Let's do it. It's just a small puzzle. But we have something new today. Look at it, right? We have wood for the beams. That's good. Now we have everything we need. We can cut and paint this. Perfect.
Yeah, first one done. Perfectly.
I don't know if you guys remember, but when we built this metal beam, it's not straight. That means that in the end, we have some space left. And on this end, we also have some space left. That means we are screwed. We need to cut this in a shape. How? I'm not sure.
Let's figure out.
Yeah. Half an hour later, we came up with a jig. Let's see if it's gonna work. So basically, I'm gonna run this. You're gonna see, and we have a pen in a small hole, and we're gonna draw the line. That's that curve. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, we hope it works.
We have a line. If it matches the curve, you're not sure yet, but we believe it does. You wanna show the line? That's how it goes. Basically, it's the pen here, getting the angle. So if we cut this is gonna go down, and
Fix.
this is gonna touch them. Let's hope so. Let's try. The next challenge is to cut this curved line. We'll see what we can do. Yeah. It's always like this. One problem creates an extra problem, and now we're gonna solve one problem, but we're gonna solve two problems. That's complicated. Basically, the idea is to cut this line using this, but this is not long enough for this. By just a small tiny piece. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna use the router to create a little, I don't know how to call that, but to create this. And once we create this, we'll be able to use this. That's the idea, but this is also necessary because on the top there is the weld, and where the weld is, we don't have a space for this square part. So this is also gonna help for the square on the top. So it's pretty good. It's killing two birds with one bullet. I guess that's how you say it. We still have some sanding to do.
And
But I think-
corrections. And some corrections of
Yeah,
a
I
little
feel. Yeah.
angles.
Let's check if it's like roughly on the size. That's pretty good.
Good.
We did it. That was the biggest challenge so far. I'm proud.
Me too.
Now we can paint, so we get ready for installing the painters. Stain it is.
can organize meanwhile.
I guess 9:30 p.m. is enough, right?
Yeah.
We call it a day.
Yeah.
That's alright. See you guys tomorrow. We have a bigger problem to solve today. This is gonna be a tough one. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this panel warped a lot. Can you get it? Oh. Yeah. So basically, this wood was too green, too wet, and this warped way too much. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a metal bar on the top of it. We're gonna screw. But in order to do that, the worst part is we don't have space. Yeah. So basically it's warped. We need to screw and pull the wood back, but we don't have enough clearance on the ceiling to have this bar here. So we need to plane, I think, 2.5 centimeters of this wood in order to have this here. And let's hope for the best. Let's get working.
Yeah.
And now the truth, moment of truth. Didn't move, right?
No.
That's a good sign.
Yeah. 4 more to go.
Let's see if it stays on place now. All these screws are on place. Seems like.
Final test.
Didn't
Yay.
move. I mean, let's see if it's straight, but it's actually much better than before. I think it's enough. We did it.
Great.
That's, now we just have to paint the metal beam, and we are ready for our friends to help us to lift the panels to place. So let's work on the paint now. That's it. Now we just need to wait for this to dry, and we're ready to wait for our friends tomorrow or maybe after tomorrow to lift the panels. And that's it. That's good. Long week. See you guys when the friends come and we can lift this. See you later. As we told you guys before, we have friends over now, and we're gonna finally lift the heavy panels. Let's start. Yeah, I think that's enough for today, right?
Yeah.
For this week. That was a lot of work, but it looks good. It's amazing. That's it.